All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Movie Mates podcast. It has been
Well,
quite
well, well.
some time. I know. I'm sorry. We're all sorry for the multiple delays, but
We
it's
know
been,
you
I
all have
think,
been anxiously waiting.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's been 3 weeks. But we're back.
Even
And
longer since you've seen Greg's beautiful face. And
yes, it's
it is
been,
beautiful indeed today. Look at that.
that's right. Yeah, especially that. Shout out to that background. I love the lighting.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
But anyway, we're back to talk about a really good movie. At least I think we all are gonna think it's at least a really solid movie in Black Panther. I don't know. Does anyone want to say anything about it before we dive in? If not, it's okay.
No, I
Rest
mean,
in peace,
I
Chadwick Boseman.
what
Yeah.
were you going to say, Greg? Chadwick
Rest in
Boseman, yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of doing this, and I think kind of partially because Chadwick Boseman
In
passed away like this
memoriam.
past week. So I think
Yeah.
that's part of the reason we're doing this, just to go back and rewatch one of his best movies, one that we all know. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this movie, I think came out in 2018, and I saw it back then, but, this is the first time I've seen it since then, so it was good to go back and see it again.
I agree. Yeah, I haven't seen it in quite some time, so it was good to go back and rewatch it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can kind of just get started with talking about it. And I mean, it had been so long since I seen this. Like, I mean, it started off with it was explaining Wakanda, right? And like,
Right.
kind of with like animation of sorts, right?
Yeah, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you guys have to say about that, but
Yeah.
first of all, I think narration is kind of like an easy way to start a movie in general. Like, it's kind of just like, oh, let's just start with narration. Like,
Well,
you know.
I think they have to because this is the first time we're seeing this part of the MCU.
I mean, but they did it in a good way, though, right? It wasn't like someone just telling us. It's not someone just talking to the audience. It was like a father talking to a son, which I thought was good. I mean, obviously other films have done that, but I thought it's like, more natural. And
Sure.
also, I love the animation in this beginning part too. It's like so different and unique, and like it's totally the style of this movie, and it kind of like prepares you for the movie. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought it was an interesting way to start it off. I mean, you got to explain the whole like country of Wakanda somehow. So, I mean,
Yeah, like how they got vibranium and
yeah, and
everything.
and then I mean, I don't know. It's I also forgot that it had started off by going to a flashback, right? So
Yes.
right after they did the animation, it was back to the flashback in 1992, I believe it
Yes.
was. And I
Yes.
wanted to say, I think that in the flashback, the guy who was like playing T'Challa's dad really looked like him. Like he,
Looked like Chadwick Boseman.
yeah, I thought he looked like him
He
kind of.
does.
Like he definitely
Yes.
does, in my opinion.
And he also looks like the guy who plays like his father in like the present day too. Like they did a really good job of that.
What's his name?
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
Is that his name? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he looked a lot like him, so I thought that was kind of funny. But
That was.
I had forgotten what happened in this scene. I knew that like I had known that like I think one of them had betrayed Wakanda, but I'd forgotten that the second guy that was with the prince, I guess, or the king's brother.
Yeah, Zuri.
I forgot that. Yeah,
he was from
or
Wakanda.
his name was James in the when
Yeah,
that was his cover.
James.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that I forgot that he was like a double agent. Like he tricked the other guy so badly. I thought that was I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He just burned him, and he was loyal to the king. I don't know.
I thought that seemed just uncomfortable.
Really?
Why?
It's kind of like, I don't know, just kind of weird, kind of creepy.
I thought it was a good scene. Like you kind of like understand. I kind of got a little bit of like Lion King vibes. Like Scar and Mufasa. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a really good.
That's actually good. That's really yes. Okay, because I knew it reminded me of something, just like the scene like when like he's like in the spiritual world, which
that does seem like Lion King.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Really?
It reminds me of Lion King. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. I mean, I also thought. Hold on. They took the prince or his brother back to Wakanda, and I guess did he end up like did they ever like for his crimes, right? Did they end up killing him? Like because we never really got like.
Wait, what do you mean?
Do you remember when? Because the king went to kind of catch him stealing vibranium, right, and giving it to Claw back in the day. I think is what it was.
Yes.
But then like he took him back to Wakanda, right?
No.
Yes. Yes,
No,
he
he
did.
didn't.
Yes, he
No,
did. He said
it
you're gonna
cut
come.
to. Yeah, no, he says that, and then
Oh no, you're
basically
right. Oh, I'm so
it cuts,
sorry. I am horrible.
and that's all you get to see at that point in
Yes.
time, right?
Yes, you are right.
And you're like, oh, he's going back to Wakanda, but
Yeah,
like
I'm
How's
you
so
he
know,
kill
sorry.
them?
You're so right. He did. Yes.
he kills
Well,
him, and you see that later. Which I
Does
mean, we
the
could talk
son
about it now, though. We can talk about it
yeah,
now.
we can
doesn't the
talk. I guess.
son see that though?
I don't think he saw him kill him, but I think he saw like. Didn't he see like the ship
He
fly
saw
away or something?
he said he saw the ship fly away, and he said he saw panther claws in
Mm.
his father's chest.
Well,
Which I mean, like what, he like left his claws in him, or he just
That would
I
be
think he saw like the
very
marks.
that
yeah.
would be a very personal way to kill your brother. My goodness.
Well, I
Well, but
think.
it's not like
Do you remember? He tried to kill Zuri, right? You remember? The brother tried to kill. Remember? And then the king stepped like blocked it with like his
Oh yeah.
Black Panther armor stuff, and then ended up killing him
yeah.
in the same motion. I'm pretty sure is what happened. So, like, I don't think he definitely didn't want to kill him.
No,
But he was forced to, cause like, or I guess well, I don't know if he was forced to, but like he tried to shoot the other guy, so he wanted to protect him, and I guess that was the
yeah.
best way to
I
do it.
mean, I think
Hmm.
he was just trying to protect Zuri, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
And like I feel like he didn't do anything wrong in that regard. Like, you know, his friend or this guy who's like a citizen of Wakanda is being threatened, and he's just protecting him, and he like accidentally kills his own brother.
Yeah.
But like they made it out to be like a super bad thing later in the movie. They're like, he killed his own brother, like you're the son of a murderer or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I
don't
think
know.
that's also like interesting because like that's like from like the mouths of people who never really saw what happened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like the only
Well,
person
because at that point the only people who know what happened are like
was Zuri.
yeah, Zuri. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So and like he's the only one that knew, and he told T'Challa, right? He's like, your father saved my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I owed him for that, and I said I would keep it a secret.
Which I thought, okay, I'm sorry, this is way far ahead, but I thought it was weird that T'Challa didn't like explain what Zuri had told him and like explain to everybody else, like, oh, I just found this out, such and such happened. Zuri was there. He saved Zuri's life. He wasn't trying to kill him. It just happened. I don't know why he kept it a secret. I just found out about it. And like, you know, why didn't he take that approach? Why was he like so like silent and
Yeah, we'll get into
so
that in regards to what was the I'm so sad. What was the main villain's name?
Killmonger?
Oh, okay, I
Eric
guess.
Killmonger.
Well, his real name was like,
Eric.
Wasn't it Eric? Yeah.
yeah,
All right, I'm just gonna call him that then because that's easier.
Eric?
But yeah,
Yeah.
But anyway, like we'll get into that more. But like you know, like I feel like T'Challa was just so secretive about it all. It was very weird. You know, like
Yeah.
you're right. Like he like when Eric or Killmonger walked in to like the throne room, he just kind of like he wouldn't say like who he was, even though he knew. Like he wouldn't tell anyone. Like it was weird. Like he kept it secret till the last second.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
was
because
just-
I think what was happening is they were both jockeying for power in that scene,
yes, they were.
like through like the information that they both knew.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about their strategies. You know.
Yeah. But we'll get into that as we go through. But I wanted to go back to closer to the beginning, which is
Were
when
you talking about like the end of the movie?
I was like we're talking about, like the throne.
We're talking
room
about
scene.
this throne room scene where he's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I was
ask
gonna
who I
say, I
am.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No.
sorry. We jumped too far ahead. But
Yeah.
but we can go back to when we get introduction to the Black Panther or T'Challa, which is after this next scene, right? We go back to the present day, and I mean, it gets said that like I think it's mentioned that like the world thinks Wakanda is still one of the world's poorest nations,
Yeah.
which like is just kind of funny because like it's crazy that they could keep their wealth such a secret from the whole
Yeah.
world. I thought that was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool concept, I suppose.
I just
Um,
think, I just think the MCU is just, it does such a good job of just combining so many like just fantasy worlds. Like it's just incredible. Like
I guess
realistic, like ideas.
But you do have to suspend your disbelief somewhat. You know, like
Well, of course, the whole thing you do. But when you do that, then it's great.
like I don't know if this is a good time to bring this up, but like vibranium, like the way they explain it is just like, you know, the meteor came down and like made everything like, you know, awesome, and it does everything. and that's why it is cool, and that's why it can do everything, because it just does.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I
Like,
just wish
there's
they
an
like explained
Asgard.
it a little bit more.
There's an
you know?
Asgard and all these different worlds with all these different powers and gods and whatnot. That's the least of what's going on here.
Yeah, but they're like, I don't know. I just feel like, oh, this one nation has this stuff because this meteorite crashed down that nobody else knows about, and like,
Yeah, no, I just find it funny that no one else like saw them building like those like whatever they built to
yeah,
allow them to be hidden, right? They had to build some sort of shield. I just find it funny, like it's not like a leap to say that that's possible
yeah.
because
No, I'm not saying it's
right,
not
Greg, it is the
possible.
MCU.
I
And,
just want more like explanation, which I know like it's a
long movie.
blockbuster. They want to get stuff told, but it's somewhat
Yeah.
kind of. When I was watching it the second time, I was like, oh, like wait, how does vibranium do all this stuff? Like,
Mhm.
I thought it was just the strongest metal in the world because that's how it was like introduced in Captain America, right? So
Mhm. Yeah, can I
You
also
could totally- I mean, you could tell that that's not how they intended it to be originally.
yeah,
Like, I bet when they came out with Captain America, like, I mean, they had not thought of this move. Like, they had not planned this all.
yeah, probably
Oh,
not. That's-
probably not. Yeah, I mean, it kind
Yeah.
of grew into its own. Yeah, so like the MCU's like, and now like as we know, like it's going on to a whole new branch of like heroes and everything. So
yeah.
Oh,
it'll be interesting. I know, right? I
not
know.
ready for that.
Me neither.
I
Yeah.
grew up
Well, I
with
mean,
these-
hey, we don't know when that's gonna happen because they've delayed a lot of production. So
Yeah, I
I
know.
know.
I know a lot of stuff. Not Marvel is getting back, like, or they're trying to get back.
yeah,
We'll see what
I
happens.
know, but it's just like sad because like these are the characters that we grew up with, and so I know for me personally, I'll never be as attached to like
Same.
new characters as I'll always kind of like look at them kind of like, oh, you're just trying to be Captain America, you're just trying to be Iron Man. Like,
Greg's gonna become that old man who's like, back in my day. And he's gonna be like,
I
no,
mean,
I'm gonna be
I
that-
agree with
I'm gonna,
Greg.
I'm
Sorry, go
gonna
ahead.
be that teacher that's like arguing with the students about like old school like characters.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like Iron Man
I
was
mean-
lame. I'm like, no.
No, I mean, like, I understand that point of view though. That like, and I kind of feel that too. Like, I'm not as excited for future MCU movies as I was like 5 years ago.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
well,
yeah.
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 Sorry, I don't mean to get off track, but I just thought.
No, it's okay. No,
Greg made an interesting point there.
He
so.
did, and I would expand more on that. But
I agree with you.
You guys hit a lot of good points. But we could talk about now finally the introduction we get to Black Panther, which is
Right.
like I thought it was pretty cool. You get to see all like their cool tech, right? You get to see like the cool ship, and you see him like
Yep.
going in like the night to I guess go on some sort of mission. And it turns out he's going to get what's her name again? Is it Nadia?
Nakia.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Lupita Nyong'o. She's so she's such a good actress. She's so beautiful. I think she's just perfect for the part.
She's great.
Very underused.
But also, I want to say that, I mean, maybe she was underused, but she didn't really have like that big of a role.
Yeah.
Anyways,
The role was underwritten.
like
I just
like you could have had the movie without her. I would say.
You could have, yeah.
I agree. Like her acting talents were underutilized, but
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say like we also get introduced to Okoye here, right?
yes.
Like that bald lady, and I
Yeah.
think she was a great character to have
Mhm.
in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a bit cheesy sometimes, but I think it was like interesting to have her.
Well, yeah, I think that's true, especially because like I think that her in particular, but also a lot of like the movie is like talking about like loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that she encompasses that like really strongly, like throughout the whole movie. Like, remember when
Yeah.
Killmonger becomes like the king? Like, she's like, no, I'm gonna stay like loyal to him and to the Wakanda and stuff. And and then like her loyalty was tested to a point where she just couldn't, like, even she couldn't
do
stay
it,
loyal any
yeah.
longer. So I thought it was like interesting,
Mhm.
like you can be loyal as much as you want to like family and your country, but only to a point. Like I just thought that was like interesting. Like the whole movie like had
Yeah.
that talked about, like with T'Challa and his dad. Like he was always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like when we had T'Challa like go like drop down from the ship
And he goes
and
on
like
that
the
mission.
I thought that was cool. It was
Yeah,
just,
it
like,
is cool.
I
It is
agree.
cool.
introduction with him and like the
And
dark,
she's like, "Don't freeze," and he's like, "I never freeze."
I never.
Yeah. You knew he was gonna freeze after they said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but also like that part when he does freeze kind of like bothers me always in the movie because he's like Nakia, and he's obviously like struggling for words, and she's standing there, and then there's a guy who's like, I'll kill her, and he like comes out like this, he's like
Yeah,
threatening to kill this person,
yeah.
and then Okoye comes down and helps him, and she's like, you froze or something like that. But like I feel like even if he hadn't froze, like that guy still would have been there. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it didn't make a difference. Like that still would have happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I
That
don't
part
know.
just bothered me. Like I wish like his freezing actually had like
Mattered.
something to do. Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, kind of. I mean, you kind of knew that Okoye was gonna come and like fight as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
With her spear.
Yeah, with her spear. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I don't know. I thought it was just a cool introduction. I thought it
Yeah.
was pretty interesting. And then like I wanted to
Serviceable.
talk about like the scenery of it all, like the landscape and everything. Like when then they fly after that and they go into Wakanda for the first time. And we get to see like all the scenery and everything. I thought it was really cool. Like even
Mhm.
T'Challa's like he's like this never gets old and like he sees it all. I don't know. I mean, I know it's just all like CGI and stuff, but I thought it was just I thought it was neat. I thought
Mhm.
it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just
Um,
such a unique movie.
yeah, it is. No,
It
definitely.
did. It does look beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
So.
that was kind of my only point.
Mhm.
And then I also wanted to touch on this. Like we get introduced to like T'Challa's family, his mother and his sister, and
Yeah.
like I wanted to talk. Like I feel like I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought that him and his sister had a really good dynamic through the whole movie. Like
They
I don't know,
did.
like
Like
they
yeah.
said a really good like banter back and forth, and it was very like I don't know. You could see that they cared a lot about each other, but it was also just very fun.
This is my
Yeah.
personal opinion, but I
Mhm.
think that without Shuri, it would have been a lot harder to relate to T'Challa's character because we don't get to learn a lot about him as a character, outside of his relationship with Shuri and maybe
Sure.
with his father.
To see him as
But
like a brother.
yeah, but like you kind of get to like it makes it more relatable to have that dynamic there.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it was very light, just back and forth, like normal, like
Mhm.
brother and
Like
sister.
when they're in that when they're in the lab together, and she's like, "What are
Yeah,
those?" And he's like
yeah,
wearing
yeah,
his sandals.
yeah.
Like,
That's a good scene.
Yeah, but just like little stuff, like she was like, remember when he kicked like the new suit and then she started recording him? And he's like, why are you
yeah,
recording it? It's like for, just for
Yeah.
research purposes. And then like she started laughing at him because she knew
Yeah.
it was gonna happen. I thought that,
I
it's
mean,
something that
sometimes
was
like
just funny.
that stuff like that is like predictable because like what's
No,
gonna happen
it is
too.
predictable, but it's like, like I would mess with
But
my
yeah,
sister
I
as
mean,
well.
I think
So
it's intentionally predictable though because they
yeah,
want the audience to be like, "Oh, I know what's gonna happen."
yeah. So
Uh,
I just thought that was kind of cool, just like
yeah.
the little like connection and banter
What were
there.
you gonna say, Greg? I interrupted you like 2 times there.
I I forgot.
Was it gonna be
Anything
about
about
Shuri and T'Challa?
Well,
yeah.
just he was relatable, like more
Mhm.
relatable than I was trying to think of a character that's not very relatable in the MCU, like a major MCU character that's not relatable.
Mm.
I would say, um, who has their own movie.
Oh,
Like
does
I
it have to be
think,
someone who has their own movie?
well, probably because it's not fair to
Okay.
say someone's not relatable if they don't have a whole movie to themselves to try to
Yeah,
become.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's a
I would say
that's a great question.
like Thor maybe.
Yeah,
I feel
Thor
like
is probably, at least in the earlier movies, definitely he's probably one of the least relatable.
I don't know
right.
about that. I'm sorry. I don't want to get like but like I feel like in the beginning movies, Thor, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't he like he has a sort of like just arrogance about him, right? Like that's kind of his thing. Like he knows he's gonna be king and he's like the
Yes.
best and he's the strongest. I feel like
Yes.
I feel like that's relatable to a lot of people. A lot of people walk around like in life and they think that they're just arrogant and they think they're like the best at stuff or one of the best.
Right, but that's
You
kind of
know.
like superficial. That's not like
Yes. No, it is. Yeah.
But
No, it
then there's
is.
like, yeah, and there's also that period of time like in between those beginning movies where Thor is like has that kind of arrogance issue, then like
Hmm.
superiority
I,
complex almost, and
Yeah.
then the more recent films where he's like more
Crashing down.
relatable and seems like an actual person and stuff like that. There's like
Mhm.
a period in between there where he was kind of used for in like those big like Avengers 2 and stuff like that was just to kind of be like a character there for like comic relief and action and stuff. Like he wasn't really explored as much as a character in
Yes,
those
that's
middle
true.
films.
well, I certainly think that T'Challa is very relatable.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
so
found him much more relatable watching this the second time through than the first time through.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think he's relatable. Yeah, I would agree. I
So
mean,
then what's
I don't know what is next. Then we get I believe then we get an introduction to the villain, I guess. We get
Eric,
introduction
yeah.
to well, we have what's his name, Claw, and then what's his first name? Is it,
Eric.
no,
Why are you
no, no,
laughing?
no, the British guy, the British guy as well.
I was like
Is it Ulysses Claw?
Oh
or
my
what's
gosh,
his name?
I love him. I love
I
him.
forget. Yeah, I
Claw?
like him
Yeah,
too.
Ulysses
Yeah,
Claw.
yeah, Ulysses Claw.
Honestly,
Yeah.
got okay. We talked about how Lupita Nyong'o got underused. Andy Serkis got way underused.
Yes, I
Oh
agree.
my gosh,
He did
he
do
was
a
a
really good
great
job.
character.
I was gonna
He did
say,
such a good job.
I feel like he did a lot better in this movie, and maybe it's like a product of having so many characters in Ultron. But I felt like in Ultron, like he was just like, I don't know, like he was just like so much cooler in this movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like he was
yeah.
more intimidating of sorts, I guess. So I don't know. I agree with you, Connor. I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, and I
I
thought it
don't
was
think he's
cool.
intimidating at all.
Really? I mean, I don't
too
think he's like
comic relief.
scary, but I think he's like a good villain because you can tell he means business, but he's also kind of like got that kookiness to him that makes him kind of
Yes.
like a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think there's a little too much comic relief for him to be completely taken seriously as a villain.
Really? I didn't think it was like necessarily funny so much as kind of like sometimes it was a little bit unnerving because you're like, what's he
Yes, I was about to
doing,
say like
you
it's a
know?
little like he's just like a little like creepy of sort, like someone like I don't know, it's just like a little
Yeah.
off,
I
a little bit unhinged kind of.
thought he was funny. I thought he was more funny than just like intimidating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's weird.
And it was interesting how this movie does it because I don't know what you're like in general with the villains. We had like Claw, right? And he was pretty much like the guy, the de facto like head talking point villain for a lot of the movie. But then in the back half, you had um, uh,
Yeah.
Killmonger, Eric come on like and become the main villain of sorts.
Yeah,
So
I saw the transition.
I thought that was like a unique like dynamic though, because typically it builds up to like one big bad, but like here it was kind of just like it was like you had two
Yeah.
kind of just.
Well, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
A couple things. First of all, the introduction to both of them I thought was really well done in this scene that we're talking about right now, where they like poison the museum director or whatever, and then they like steal the vibranium thing. That was
I thought
cool.
that was really sad. That actually made me very sad.
Yeah.
So bad. Director.
But it like kind of shows you kind of like you know, Eric's personality, that he's kind of like that, you know, young American kind of guy, but he's also like, you know, he was that soldier in Iraq or Afghanistan who like doesn't have a problem with killing people and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, it's a good point. But that scene, like when they just start making out the back of the car.
Yeah.
That's whatever. Yeah, whatever. We don't know.
Yes.
But then the other point I was gonna make is that, like, you know how Ryan just talked about that Claw is like one of the like main villains or like the face of the antagonists for the first half of the movie, and then Eric and company break him out of prison and they like take this plane somewhere, or like they're about to get in that plane, and then like Eric just kills them all, right? And then he basically just kills Claw, like he just kills him. Like he's just dead, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of put me off. I'm like,
it was definitely a little jarring, a little abrupt, kind of.
Yeah,
You know,
and it's why was I so invested in this guy being a villain if he's just gonna die to another guy like that? And also, if like, why didn't Eric just like go to Wakanda earlier? Why did he feel the need to like work with these dudes to like steal this vibranium, and then?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean,
because he didn't get anything from them.
The only thing you could say is like he was waiting to kill Claw because he knew killing Claw would get him into Wakanda, but like we had no indication that was like his intention. Like we had, I don't think we had any indication that that's what he wanted to do.
But like
up
maybe
until that point.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it was a weird transition.
I understand that could be why what he was trying to do was trying to kill Claw the whole time. But I feel like he had an opportunity to do that, like, you know, earlier in the movie too, you know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't know.
I forget.
What'd you say?
What'd you say, Greg?
I thought we had to go through the whole Seoul, South Korea scene before Claw died.
Oh no, we do. I was just getting ahead because I was just really upset that he died. Basically.
Yeah.
I mentioned.
Yeah. But we can talk about before we get to the South Korea. I want to talk about the ceremony of T'Challa becoming, I guess technically becoming king for the first time, real quick. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was pretty cool. Like it was really neat being able to see them all. Like
Oh gosh.
I thought that was really cool, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Like Greg, did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh wait, no, the fight scene, I like that, but also I love
The
the ceremony
ceremony.
when he drinks like the
Hmm.
potion. Oh yeah, I love
Mhm.
that. And he goes to the spiritual world. That's my favorite scene in the movie.
Mm. Yeah.
When
No.
the Jabari tribe comes out and
Yeah.
they're
They're like,
like,
hoo,
"Who?
hoo. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not, yeah, yeah. It's hard. Like, yeah. I thought. I mean, the whole northern tribe. I don't know. They're fine. They're there.
yeah, they're okay. I
They're
mean,
fine.
So they're like part of Wakanda.
Yeah, but they're kind of like
I
an ostracized group of Wakanda, is my understanding.
And so he's his cousin, right?
I guess
uh
very, very distantly, maybe like very, very distantly.
yeah,
Like it's like I think they split off like a while back, and no kings have visited like the northern tribe for quite some time, and it's like,
So
yeah,
so it's not really a hereditary monarchy. It's like it is until somebody challenges you and beats you.
I
hmm
guess so. But it seemed okay. At least it appeared to me as though it has been a hereditary monarchy. Like
yeah,
no one has been able to overthrow them ever
Right. But if they did,
because yeah. But the reason I say that is because like he's part of the noble family, and everybody else is like part of a tribe. So like
I think the movie could have done a better job establishing that it was very not uncustomary. Like it's normal to not have a challenge
yeah,
for the kingdom for like the spot of king,
yeah.
and in this
mhm.
movie, like both
Probably because
times.
their society is so utopian that they wouldn't be unhappy with it.
Yeah,
You
but
know
like
what I
this
mean?
time, like in this movie, it was like it happened twice in one movie, so it was just kind of like a little like the normal viewer might be like, oh, like can you just challenge and fight him, like just like whenever. But it's like I think it
Yeah,
was very uncommon. Like normally, like
yeah.
the northern tribe doesn't come. Normally, it's like a king is a king, and that's
I
it.
mean, I think the challenge stuff is like really entertaining and interesting to watch, but also at the same time, like this is a society that's like,
Mm.
super advanced and like has all this technology, and they're thriving and everything, but that they like fight to the death to determine their leader. That's how they choose their leader.
Mm.
Like I don't know, it just felt like that's something that they would they would have a better way of choosing their leader rather than just like physical strength,
Well,
like who can fight better.
well, no, strength is their big thing. That's their like.
Mm.
I guess, but like
MO.
just because you can beat someone in a fight doesn't mean you're like a better king
Yeah,
of
but
it.
I think that
Like
yeah, no, yeah, but I think that I guess that is out like shows that there's flaws in all kingdoms and
I
societies,
guess it
right?
just kind of felt out of place because
Like it's
it
not.
feels
Well,
like
I think that shows that it's not a utopia. Like you
yeah, but
mentioned utopia, it's not like.
I guess my point is like in this movie they're trying to show this like society that's like super advanced for vibranium, like gives them all these technology and weapons and like medicine and everything, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time they're trying to show like also some they're trying to give it this African culture feel, like with their wardrobes and stuff like that, and you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And uh while like I'm not saying that it's misrepresenting or anything like that, but I feel like it's pretty idealistic to even say like a cult, like a society like this far advanced in terms of technology and stuff wouldn't have evolved their like dress to be different, you know what I mean, like to look
Oh,
more
I
like
don't
what
know.
we would consider city like.
But I think they do. I
I
mean,
guess
if you look up T'Challa's mom, the queen, like her outfit is very like
Mm.
tribal and very like real. Like,
which is
Elegant
cool. No,
and
but
yeah.
I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm saying that's idealistic. Like that's what we would like to think that we would all do, is like keep some of our own culture with us as we go on, but also advance, right? Like
Well, yeah, of course.
every ethnic group would like that. So I'm saying that's an idealistic approach, but then they still have this idea that they're gonna fight to find their leader, and
Hmm.
they have like a monarchy in general. But I guess that's just me saying that like I think a monarchy is like a not a good form of government.
I mean, I get your overall point, but I think that the point of it, and we'll move on from this and
I
just.
mean, I know it's not supposed to be like thought of like that complexly, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah, but I think the point of that would be that like the point of it is like like even a society like Wakanda with all its utopian technological advances still has
yeah,
its many flaws, right? So no matter how
right.
advanced you get, no matter how smart you are, how far you get into the future,
Hmm.
your society's still going to have outdated
Yeah.
infrastructure or policy or just
Or
government in there.
traditions,
So
even
yeah,
maybe.
but I also think it's all a matter of perspective. Like it really is. So I
Yeah.
mean, from their perspective, it's just like they do it because that's how it's always been done,
I
and
guess it
that's
just feels to me like
you know
it feels to me more like less a part of their world and more like a device of the story that I could
maybe
easily pick out. Like that's the reason that they did it is because they wanted to make the story like, oh, Eric comes in, challenges him, and like throws him off the edge of the waterfall. Not because that's how the society would actually do it. You know what I mean?
sure.
But that's
Ah,
just how
That's
I
okay.
take it in personally.
I don't want to think like that, but I can see your point.
I can see your
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And then we're here. I'm sorry. We'll jump on to the time when they go to South Korea to get Claw, and T'Challa makes a promise. He says, I'll get Claw, I'll bring him back for you." And that it's dangerous to make
Yeah.
promises like that. And it turns out that he was unable to fulfill his promise.
Okay, but
This whole
also
Let's
like,
talk about this whole thing. So for me,
but it's not like he broke his promise. Like he couldn't like it's not like
yes.
he had the opportunity and like
Yes, and
failed it.
now to me, this is very interesting because it's very similar to what happened with in regards to T'Challa and his dad. So in terms of like T'Challa's dad killed his brother, and everyone who found out was like, "How could you?" Like and T'Challa was like, "Wow, how could you do this?" And like and the leaving the kid behind is another problem. But my point is like people weren't there with T'Challa; they didn't see what happened, and yet a lot
Yeah.
of them drew conclusions like, "Oh, another broken promise, like another king who can't follow through on what he says." And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you weren't there; you didn't see that,
Yeah.
he put all his effort into it. So it's just it's kind of an interesting perspective
Yeah.
to have on that. But I thought overall it was a cool whole 15-minute scene or whatever with the whole South Korea stuff. I thought the music was really cool. I thought it was cool when Claw gets in the car and he's just like there's no music and he's like I forget
Where's the music?
where
Yeah.
he's like I think he's like where are we, like a morgue or something. I don't know what he said. He said like
Yeah.
yeah, something like that, and he's like put on some music. I thought that was kind of funny. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's a
like when you
great
get
scene.
yeah. I
I
like
also
when
thought
you get to
the suit
see
was cool.
what did you thought was cool? His suit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like when
Me
you get to
too.
see Everett Ross when you get to meet little Bilbo Baggins over there.
Yeah, he was cool. He was neat. He was a fun character.
Yeah.
I agree. Uh,
Um
I don't know, Greg. Anything on this? Like the
Wait,
whole time in South
he was
Korea?
an agent of Shield, right?
No, he was CIA.
yeah, he works for the CIA.
Right.
He
Yeah.
was the guy who was like wanted to capture Bucky, I think, in Civil War or something like that. Like he was in
We all
charge of
want to
leading.
capture Bucky.
Yeah, but I think like he was like one of the guys who was like in charge of like interviewing him and stuff and
Oh, he was with the
figuring
Secretary of State. That's right.
Yeah.
Was it Secretary Ross? Was that the secretary's
Yeah.
name?
I thought it was Red Hulk.
Uh,
Huh?
that's General Ross.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're the same person.
So, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, well, I mean, if we do want to talk about something in South Korea, I thought it was like kind of interesting when they're like in the club and Nakia's like, we need to make a move on Claw. And T'Challa's like, stand down, we can't afford a shootout or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
And then she's like, it's now or never. And then Okoye's like, stand down. And she like speaks in the other language, which is why like the guy like hears her and he's like, what's going on? And then suddenly like he's like talking to her and then she's like, she doesn't even respond. She's just like, it's over. And then she starts attacking him. I don't know. I was like, they could have like gotten him out of that. I don't know. Like they didn't have to resort to that.
But it has to make for a
Yeah.
better movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They needed to get the action going somehow. I kind of, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they just wanted a big chase scene, which I guess was okay. I mean, it was
Yeah.
cool seeing.
No, it was cool. I just felt like,
Yeah.
I guess it seems like I'm doing a lot of complaining, but I'm just saying like a lot of
No,
the stuff feels like a stretch to me, like that, you know.
Sure, that's okay. I did
Yes,
like it.
it
I
is
did.
an MCU movie.
It's like I said at the beginning, like there's a lot of suspension of disbelief, and I guess sometimes for me it's just like it just feels like things were written in just because they didn't actually make like real sense for the story, you know.
Sure.
I don't know.
I did like how at the end, like again, this is a theme through the whole movie where it's like he was gonna kill Claw, I'm pretty sure, and like everyone was filming him, and they're like, no, like T'Challa, just like don't like look around, like like you can't let the whole world like see you do this. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting because like the whole idea, one of the other themes in the movie was like we like don't want to intervene with the outside world or like outreach because
Yeah.
like we don't want to be corrupt. I think it was like partially like they don't want to be corrupted, it seemed, by the outside world, and also
They don't
like
want to become like the
they don't
outside
want to
world,
become
right?
like the others. Yeah, exactly. So they want to be
Yeah.
corrupted by them. They don't want to like
Like
turn into
war
another
and
one of
stuff, right?
them. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was just like a
Mhm.
good way to integrate like a sort of theme like that.
But then
Yeah.
Killmonger wanted to use them to take over the world, so he's like,
Yep. So then
Yeah.
we can I mean we can go there because great, or we kind of talked about the plane scene with killing Claw, which was after,
Yeah.
um, and we can talk about how Killmonger obviously kills him, right, and then he goes
Well,
to
there's also that interrogation scene with
yeah,
Claw where he
uh,
tells Ross about the vibranium in
mhm,
Wakanda,
mhm.
and like you can kind of see on their faces during that scene like how hesitant they are for other people to like learn about. Like they're so protective of Wakanda. You know what I mean?
Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean, again,
Which
like they don't want to be corrupted. Like they don't want to become another one of those places, like the
yeah.
world. Yeah, and that definitely shows. Like they want to stay like
Mhm.
pure is the wrong word, but they want to stay pure. They want to stay like themselves, I think, and
Yeah.
they don't want to. Yeah. So no, you're definitely right. Um,
Sorry, you were talking about the plane and
that's
the
okay. I was just say then he goes to Wakanda and he
yeah
brings Claw's body, and at this time, well, I don't know the guy's name. Uh,
Wakabi.
is that his name?
Yeah, Wakabi.
Okay.
Wakanda, no!
He brings him to the throne room, and we have the whole throne room scene where we kind of already discussed, but essentially,
Yeah.
T'Challa again like knew about it and like didn't really like he really was secretive and didn't want to say anything, and then like
Yeah.
someone finally asked Killmonger like, "What's your name?" He was asking them
Yeah.
to ask what his name was, and someone did, and then he said, and everyone's like, and then he challenged him to fight for the throne, which was interesting because like he didn't have to accept. Like he could have declined the
Right, but
Yeah.
also it looks
fight.
poor for a
It
king.
does. It does. It's just,
Yeah.
you know.
I thought that was like one of the better scenes in the whole movie is like
Mhm.
you could see both of them like in this like completely different world than anyone else in the room because they know what's going on, you know,
Yep.
and they're
I,
like I don't know, I just like that, but also like I did feel like why doesn't T'Challa just try and explain everything to everyone instead of just like waiting for Eric to make all the moves, you know? I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I agree. It was interesting. I liked the scene because it was so fast paced with like the dialogue, and it was really like building up because you knew something was going to happen,
It
and
was engaging. It was
you
very
knew it was
engaging.
there, but then it was also like you could read like it was very like emotion heavy, not like in terms of like heavy emotion, but like you could see like the tension between like Eric and like T'Challa, like they both knew, and
Yeah.
they're both like one's nervous, like his mom was like, what's going on, like
Yeah.
there's no way, like get him out of here, like this is ridiculous, like everyone just had a different kind of like emotion to it, and it was kind of
And,
neat.
and my emotion when Eric took off his shirt, I was like, "What is wrong with his chest?" I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, he
Yeah.
killed a lot of people, quite a lot of
Yeah.
people. And then we get to the scene where they fight, and it was very quick. It was very rushed to get there. And for me, every time I watch this, I have a hard time watching the scene. Like I feel so like I feel so sad, like
Because
watching it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, especially watching it back, like as it takes a turn for the worse, because it doesn't happen very often where someone gets beaten so thoroughly as like a main character.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to sit through. I'm like, oh, this is just
Well,
so
no,
like
yeah, and the thing that was
right.
different about this is like he didn't cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He
Right?
just beats him straight
He
up.
just beat him.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
usually like the villain like cheats or something and then beats
Like he
him.
gets like a
Yeah.
knife from like one of his henchmen. Or, yeah, no, I know what you mean. So you're totally right. It was just kind of like it was just sad. I don't know. It was like disheartening. It's like,
Yeah. And
wow.
Zuri intervenes and then Killmonger stabs him.
Mhm.
And
And
yeah.
then you
Well, then
see,
Connor, then
What?
it kind of teaches them that like, gee, this way of doing this isn't the best way to teach
Yeah.
it.
I'm glad
yeah,
you brought that up, Greg. I appreciate that.
Like it's not
yeah.
just about strength; it's about like
Yeah. That's a great point. That is a great point. Um,
To be fair, like he again didn't have to accept the challenge.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
but yes, you are right.
but also like yeah, Eric says he's been like training all his life for this, right?
It's like, okay.
That's cheesy.
Yeah, and he's like, I killed people in this place, and this place. Like he's like naming all
Iraq,
these countries.
Afghanistan.
It's like Canada. I don't know. And then,
He's like
You
America.
said Canada?
No, I think he said I think he said America, like my own people, Afghanistan and Iraq. I think is what he said.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. He
So
says America, Afghanistan, and Iraq. He said, I took life from my own brothers and sisters right here on the continent.
Yep.
All of this just so I can kill you. Like, it's interesting that he's like saying like he did all this stuff to get to that point. Like he couldn't have gotten there unless he killed all these people. Like, I
Yep.
don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Like, really, man? Are you just being dramatic? Or...
I think that T'Challa should have kept the Black Panther power, but didn't tell him.
Oh.
So you think that hero should have
Oh, okay.
cheated?
Well, that
I
would
do
have been.
think
Go ahead.
I
Go
do
ahead.
think Michael B. Jordan, I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, does a really good job of like selling this character that like is just so angry at like the situation he got put in
Yeah.
life and the situation that he thinks like, and he thinks that a bunch of other people are in the situation, and the only way he can fix it is by taking.
Sure, but I also
control
I
away
find
from
it
him.
interesting because I feel like he's such a one-dimensional character, and like this isn't necessarily a bad thing because I mean sometimes like humans or people are very one-track minds, like, and you can see
Mhm.
he was very determined for one thing, but he had just a straight like he had one goal. He had like all his emotions were directed towards that goal. Like he
Mhm.
didn't feel sad when he killed people. He didn't feel bad about killing those people. He only
Yeah.
had it with one idea and one goal in mind, and I feel like it was just like it wasn't even necessarily it wasn't a bad thing, but it was just
Yeah.
interesting. Like it's just very one-dimensional, like just character, just like
Well, I agree. I
tunnel
also
visioned.
I think that he like when he becomes king, like he's very just like you could just tell like his just inexperience. Like he has no reason to be there. Like
Yeah.
he's just like we're gonna make Wakanda like the next like
Yeah.
and that's all.
I guess, but I do like the idea of like his motivation is to fight for people who are suffering. Basically, is what he thinks he's fighting for, right?
Wade thinks that, but
I know, but I'm saying like it's not like he's just trying to get power just because he like feels like he's been slighted and he just wants to be king, right? It's
Go
more
ahead.
complex than that,
Go
right?
ahead, Greg. Yeah.
It sounds like you're a Killmonger.
Yeah, I
apologist.
know. It sounds like he's a Killmonger supporter or sympathizer. That's what
I'm
I
not
would say.
saying that. I'm just saying. Well, I mean, I could say the same thing about Thanos, right? Like he has this idea that he can bring balance.
No.
Don't say
I
that.
mean, you can't say. I don't think you can say. Well, I don't think you can say it about either of them because while they have those ideas in their heads, I think that it's important to point out that these characters are so like the reality becomes so twisted within their minds. So he thinks that he's
No,
helping.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're doing the right thing. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that you can understand their points of view. Like you can understand their motivations, basically.
I think this is an important distinction, though. You can understand. I think you can understand someone's motivation with
Just
that
because,
while not
yeah,
understanding their point of view. Like their point of view can be very twisted,
yeah.
and
I mean,
and
I
yet,
think you can have good intentions but do the wrong thing.
sure,
So
I suppose, yeah. But I mean, he was just ending up gonna like
Are the intentions to wipe out half the universe good?
no, but his intention isn't like the goal isn't to kill people. The goal is to save people that he feels are being wronged.
Yes,
and
I feel like
his method of doing that is by killing other people, basically.
yes, but
I think that maybe works for Killmonger, but that doesn't work for Thanos.
Well, that's another conversation, but
because
it does.
Greg's right because Thanos' goal is to kill people. Like
Right, but his goal
yes.
is to kill people for the prosperity of the universe.
Yeah,
right?
but Killmonger, but what you're saying is Killmonger's goal is to help his people.
Yeah.
Like it's not his goal isn't to kill people to get like it doesn't like what you're saying is like it
he
doesn't
isn't trying
have
to
to
kill
come,
people for the sake of killing. That's not what he's trying to do, right?
but
And neither is Thanos.
he doesn't have to accomplish his goal by killing people. Thanos does. The only way Thanos can accomplish his goal is by killing
Yes.
people. Killmonger does not have to kill people to help his people.
I disagree.
Okay, you can. It's fine. Greg,
No,
you see what I'm saying, right?
I do. That's what I'm saying too. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What you're saying. Yeah.
they're definitely different scales, but it's the same principle that they both have this. They both have goals, right? That they want to achieve that are in concept good goals to strive for, but their methods of achieving those goals are flawed, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we can agree to slightly disagree on.
I don't understand what there's disagreement about.
I, it, I, do I want to? I can. I guess I kind of already said it, but I'll say it one more time. I think that Killmonger, his goal is to help his people. He
Yes.
can help his people by giving out his resources to them and not kill other people in the process. Thanos' goal is to balance the universe, and his only way to balance the universe is to kill people.
Yeah,
Thanos
it's
is
really
left
the
with
only
That's
way.
not true.
Thanos is
Yeah, it
yes it is.
If he can kill half the people in the universe with the Infinity Gauntlet, why can't he just double all the resources in the universe?
Because I don't think you can create resources out of
space.
I'm just
thin air.
saying that we
That's
can't
not
say that.
that is not what the
You just use space.
No, but
Yeah,
his
yeah.
If you double all the resources in the universe, you don't have enough space, and you still have the same problem.
okay, but you can be right in saying that Thanos has to kill people, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean what I'm saying is wrong. That they have
It's wrong for Thanos.
that they have good concepts and ideas, right?
No, I think it's wrong for Thanos because Thanos' only option is to kill half the people because
But that's his
That's only-
method. But that's
No.
still his. No, listen. Listen. Just hold on. Just hold on. I understand that he has to kill people, but that doesn't change the fact that his goal is for the universe to prosper. That's his ultimate goal, which is a good goal. But his method of getting the universe to prosper is achieving balance through killing half the people in the world.
no, but that's the only way. Like the only way to get the universe balanced is to have less people. That's the only option.
But his goal isn't to have half the people. His goal isn't to kill people. His goal is to have the universe prosper, which is a good goal to have.
Okay.
My point is that
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have to kill people. I'm just saying that they both have this idea of would they want something good for their people or for the universe. But they have bad ways of going about it.
Last thing, yeah, I agree. Last thing on this, I think that Thanos' idea is objectively bad because his idea is let me balance the universe because there's too many people in the universe and it can't handle it. Let me balance it out, and the only way to balance it out is killing people. I think that there's no it's a good idea.
Okay, but then you could say that Killmonger, the only way that he thinks he can save is you could say that you can't
fine.
say yeah. Okay,
It's fine.
we'll let the viewers decide. All right.
Yeah. We'll agree to disagree. I'm sorry we got off on a tangent, but we all really had different points of view on that. So that's definitely an interesting conversation.
That was entertaining, I have to say, but we gotta get back.
Yeah. So I'll speed it up a little bit. We're gonna go to he goes to T'Challa almost dies. His family leaves. You could see they go to the northern tribe, and basically he gets saved.
Killmonger burns all the flowers.
Kind of conveniently, I don't he drank the flower and he gets buried underneath snow. How in the world his body must be ice cold. But anyway, that I just
Oh, and the he drinks the herb, right?
Yeah.
And it somehow magically completely heals him, just like vibranium. So I guess anything in Wakanda is just is the herb
Magically heals
vibranium?
them.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh my gosh. We're not even gonna go there. All right.
Greg, say one thing, Greg.
It's this is oh my gosh. You can't even apply natural laws to this.
I'm just saying there's so much suspension of disbelief that people just pass over because of what this movie did for American culture, which I support. I think this was a great movie. This was a great movie for
watch
American.
Thor, you have to be a polytheistic person for that to not
What? No, I'm not saying you have to be. I'm not saying you actually have to believe these things could happen. I'm just saying that it seems pretty convenient that they don't explain any of it basically.
Some things are better left unexplained.
All right. Well, we can agree to disagree.
If it can give you intense strength, more than anything, why couldn't it heal you?
Why is it reserved for the black? Okay.
Okay. Whoa. Greg's like, whoa. Greg, do you have anything to say?
If it can bring people back from
All right, we can move on to what
no,
do you
I,
get?
I understand. I get it. I'm
We
not saying it's a big deal. I'm just saying that like there's a lot of convenience and
so
suspension of disbelief.
I suppose. I agree with you on some of it. We can move on to the final act 3, the final scenes of the movie, which is T'Challa going back and trying to take back Wakanda. I thought it was a cool entrance, but like he must have known that like all those the female like Kingsguard like warriors were gonna side
Yeah.
with him, right? Because otherwise, like, what do you think was gonna happen? Like he's been
Yeah,
like 1v
that's a good point. I
200,
didn't
like
think about that.
because like he had to have he had to have had like we didn't see it, but
I
he had
guess
to,
he just had faith, right?
I guess, yeah. But so we
Oh,
get that.
wait, before we talk about that,
Uh
I'm sorry. We totally skipped over the spirit world stuff that Greg was talking about. I don't know if Greg had anything to say about that.
oh yeah. Do you want to say anything about the him talking with his father and everything in the spirit world?
Well, let's just say it was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it was really good when he's like yelling at them for all being wrong and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Sure, it's good lessons. But anyway, we get to the fighting. And I mean, I don't know, like they end up starting to lose, and it's a long scene. There's a lot going on. You have the agent, was it is the agent Ross? I forget.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
doing
he's
the
fighting, and
flying.
then you have
Yeah, everybody has a role.
everyone
which
has
is
a
cool.
role. You have Shuri fighting. You have everyone fighting, and then like they're about to lose. Like it's not looking good, and then
The Jabari tribe.
the M'Baku comes, right, and
Yeah.
he helps them, and I thought that was cool. He showed up out of nowhere. I'll tell you, it was
He
an
picks
open
up
field.
and he like throws him like across everywhere.
yeah, yeah, I thought that was funny. So that was cool, and then I also liked I liked some of this end fighting scene. I want to talk about this just for a second. We get the end fighting scene between Killmonger and T'Challa, and like I think he was about to get like attack Shuri, and so T'Challa like goes up and hits him off, and
Tackles him
they
into
fall
the
down, right?
yeah.
And I thought the end was a little slow, just because like they had the trains coming through, and it was like a lot of like pauses, like it was drawn out a little bit, right?
Maybe the
Uh,
editing got to you, Ryan.
no, not
Like how
the
they
editing.
were.
It was
But
just
like,
like it's like they're fighting, and then the train comes, and then they wait for like, oh,
well, to me, I mean,
I'm gonna get you, man. I'm gonna get you, and then
it
they
felt
fight,
like,
and then the train comes again. It's like I'm gonna get you again. You
you
know,
know what it
it's like
felt like? It felt like
yeah,
at the end of Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan
yeah,
is like
it did.
chasing Qui-Gon and Darth Maul like through those doors, and it's like choom, choom, choom,
That's a
choom.
good comparison.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. But I thought it ended cool. It was a cool move by T'Challa with the knife.
Yeah.
And Killmonger admits that. Eric admits that. He's like, I think he said like that's a good move or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I don't know
And
what
then
your
he
guys'
takes him
thoughts
out.
are. Yeah, I don't know what your
He
guys'
takes him
thoughts
out to
are
see
like
the sunset, which
at
I
the
thought was
end.
cool.
I mean, Greg, I don't know what your thoughts are on like the end of that when he just brings him up.
Because you could tell that he understood
Knife.
Eric's perspective as like a child who got abandoned and stuff like that, and he like felt bad for him, and so he wanted.
And that also reveals about T'Challa. That also allows you to be like
he's very open to growth. He's very grad oriented.
good references there. Yeah.
I will say I think that like he saw that his dad messed up, but then like it's very interesting because he knows his dad messed up by leaving him behind when he was younger. But at this point, it's like, hey, like because he's sitting there watching the sunrise, or was it sunrise or sunset? I don't even know.
I think sunset because it was
Sunset,
daytime, right?
yeah,
It's,
okay.
they weren't fighting.
But then the sun was setting, and then the next thing you know, it's still daytime. But regardless, anyway, that's besides the point. Weird editing there, just saying. But they're sitting there, and he's like, and Eric looks at him. He's like, like he's like, we can still save you. And Eric goes like, no, you're gonna lock me up, right?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't want that. And it's interesting, like because like T'Challa's like, yeah, I know, like my dad messed up, but like I can't just let you walk free. Like you overthrew me. Like you tried to kill me. You tried to kill everyone. Like you can't just go unpunished for that. So it's very interesting. Like they know that like his dad messed up, but like Killmonger seems to think that like he shouldn't or like he doesn't want to go to jail. Like it's the right thing because he tried to kill a bunch of people and he tried to overthrow.
Because he feels like
I know everyone feels like it's justified.
He feels like the
yeah,
society is unjust in general. So.
Yeah. So and then I thought the very end. I mean, what did you guys think of like? I guess they go back and they start helping. Like they start doing outreach.
Well, first of all, I thought
it
the
was cool.
scene like with him and Nakia was like
Oh, it was fun.
fine. It was
It was,
fine, right? Whatever. It's just
it
the
was fine.
romance.
I guess you see that in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Sure. Like I guess like I'm not surprised. I suppose.
Then we get to the end.
Yeah, then we get to the end, and like I don't know, like the out. I
I want
guess like it's what.
I want to hear Greg talk about the end. Like when they're back in Oakland and he like buys all the buildings and he's like, I'm gonna share the wealth of Wakanda.
Who? Chala.
Yeah,
T'Challa.
very end.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I that wasn't necessarily my like the most interesting part.
Interesting. I really like the end actually.
It was fun.
I like it because it's like he and Shuri are like talking about like they're talking about kind of like what this movie was really about, which is, you know, there's this world that they could help with, and you know, they've been choosing not to, and then now they're finally choosing to help out, right? Because
Yeah.
they can, and they all, and then like they make the ship show up, and all like the kids go over and they're like, "Whoa, let's strip it for parts," right? And they're like, and Shuri like walks over and she starts talking, but then there's that one kid who like stays there, like with T'Challa, and he's like, "Who are you?" And then like he smiles, and then it ends, and like honestly, when at that end bit, like that always gets me when that kid is like asking like who he is, and then like that ends. Like when I was watching that this weekend in Alabama, like I almost like started crying because it's like, because just being around all those black people, like I don't know, like he is like the face of like, you know, black representation in the cinema, you know?
I know that's
Sure.
like Black Panther. That's why like
Yeah.
it represents so much. It's so well done too. It doesn't just feel like it was rushed through to be like a statement. It was
Yeah.
like
And it doesn't feel like it's trying to say like, look, we can include black people. Like it was just a story about
right. It's so good.
about Wakandans, right? So yeah. And yeah, and I mean Chadwick Boseman, you know, he just played so many amazing roles for the black community, you know, like Jackie Robinson and Thurgood Marshall he also played and stuff like that. So
Well, I think what makes it like, you know, even cooler is that like he did all these roles or a lot of these roles when he had cancer, which is crazy.
yeah.
You know? Like I think he had
Yeah.
cancer since 2016, which was just
Mhm.
like that means he had it during this role, which is just like unbelievable.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just give our ratings on this movie, what we thought of it overall. I mean, Greg, do you want to go ahead? Give us your number.
Yeah, I don't see any sense of like justifying it. Just overall, just really good.
No,
What?
I was just gonna say I'm gonna say some things, but you go ahead.
Really good, really good. Fits in with the MCU's. Like something I love with the MCU. Like one of the reasons it's like one of my favorite like sets of movies is because it's fictional worlds. Is because they all like come together and they're all over the place, like all over space, all over like time, literally time, and like all the dimensions, and they fit with each other and fit with the modern world. And I don't know. I don't know. I love that. I think this is such a good job with it.
Yeah.
And so I give it a 93.
Wow.
That's fair. That's fair. Pretty high for you.
Pretty high for Greg.
Sir. Yeah.
Yeah. This movie got his respect. I like it.
It did. I mean, it really did.
Yeah. There you go. Higher than Iron Man 1, if I recall.
Oh yeah, I like this movie like probably double or more than that than Iron Man 1.
Whoa.
Wow.
I would always watch Iron Man 1 over this movie.
Wow. It's close for me. I'd say it's almost even. But anyway, Connor, do you wanna give your
sure.
kind of quick as to why? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll start with the things that didn't work for me, which were basically there was a couple of moments of cheesiness, like some lines that are just like, you know, typical action movie lines or whatever. But it's like fine, it's not a big deal. And then also there were like things that I felt like I wanted more of an explanation on, or you know, maybe I understand that that they have like a time constraint, but there were a lot of like things that I felt were just written in there because they needed a way to get to the next point. And you know, it's not something that will like compromise me watching it. Like I still find it like super entertaining to watch, but you know, I just don't like when I can feel a little bit of like laziness from the writers, and I feel like I could feel a little bit of that here. Not a ton, but it's just something that like just drops it down like maybe a tier, you know, like one grade maybe for me. Um, and but I do really love the acting in this, and I think the directing was great too. Ryan Coogler, he also did Creed. He did a great job getting the performances he wanted and stuff. And it also looks great. Obviously, it's a Marvel movie quality, so they did a great job with that. And also, like the message that it explores is not very common in a lot of movies today. Like, you know, you get a lot of movies that are about like, you know, and their messages are about like, you know, treating the environment right, or like, I don't know, I don't, that's the big one I can think of. A lot of like, you know, messages like Avatar and things like that.
Sure.
Or they're about, you know, like finding a relationship with someone or things like that. But this one is like about like it's about like loyalty and also like you know, giving help to other people and like how you give help to other people and like assisting communities that you know, can't assist themselves as much, which I think is interesting because this movie, you know, being almost an all black cast and like the story of like a country in Africa was like it was a big like landmark when it came out because you know, it made so much money. And it was like one of the first times I think in like modern American cinema history where a black person got to look up on the screen and see like themselves reflected back and like really relate to the character in that way. And I think that's even impactful to like, you know, anybody of any race to be able to see that kind of diversity up there and kind of appreciate it, especially with Chadwick Boseman, because you know, as he's just passed away, I think it just makes it all that much more impactful as a movie now. So I think that you know, I also really like the villain. He did a good job, Michael B. Jordan, and you know, the writers directors bringing him to life. And the story was it was good. It wasn't like something that blew my mind, but it was good.
Let's hear this number.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie an 85. Just because I think it was so impactful and it's a great addition to the MCU and to like you know, American cinema in general. It would probably be about 10% higher if I didn't feel like
Wait,
the
I'm sorry.
writers.
Would you give it again? 85?
85, yeah. It would.
85.
I would probably
Okay.
give it a 95 if I didn't feel
Okay.
like you know, a lot of convenience and suspension of disbelief was
Sure.
required.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's all that's very fair. I mean, Connor said a lot of the stuff that I was thinking, but for me, I'm just gonna highlight a couple things real quick. For me, I think the transition between Claw and to Killmonger was kind of a little jarring. Like I didn't really see it. I guess you could see it coming, but I didn't really want to see it coming. I think keeping Claw there was still okay. And they could have gone in a different direction. I don't know, but regardless, I think they could have used him. He was great in this movie. So like Connor made a great point earlier by saying he could have been used more. I think that suspension of disbelief, like you said, like is definitely a thing in this movie. Like they kind of expect you to just accept a lot of these things and believe them. But I think Greg made a good point by saying Marvel does that all the time with a lot of this stuff, and a lot of the stuff you just kind of have to believe, just because it's kind of, you know, it's a fictional universe. So there's that. So I don't find a major problem with that. For me, I think that Connor is right. I think this movie is definitely about loyalty, but not blind loyalty. And there's a big difference. I think the movie highlights that. And I think the movie also highlights the balance between loyalty to your people while simultaneously being open to the world and having a balance between the two. And I think the movie tries to highlight that. So I like that.
Well
I
said.
just for me, yeah, and for one more thing for me, I just like I liked a lot of the relationships with T'Challa and his sister Shuri, but I also think that you know, for me, Killmonger just I wasn't like he had a couple of good scenes, his fight scene, and then I think when he was in the throne room, those were good scenes. But other than that, I wasn't really just the biggest fan of them. I mean, uh, I don't know, just very one track mind, which is
Also, I remember you mentioning the editing. I don't know if you had anything to say about that.
uh, did I mention the editing?
Yeah, something like, oh, it was like day, or it was like night,
Oh
and then
yeah,
it was
yeah,
day.
sure. Like that was a little thing just at the end. Like it was like
Yeah.
they saw the sunset, but then it was daytime the next scene. So that was kind of jarring. I think the next scene was him and what was her name, Nakia, right? And I thought she was kind of disposable, but she is a great actress, so I kind of felt bad. She was great in I saw Us. She was great in that. But regardless, the movie was yeah, it was a weird movie, but it was she was good. Uh, but overall, I thought the movie was good. I'm gonna give it like an 87. I would say I'll give it a little bit higher than Connor. A little bit better than Iron Man 1, just because it's a little bit more vibrant,
Yes.
a little bit
Yes.
more fast
Not a
paced. I would
studio.
say.
Not a
Yeah, and
studio.
Iron Man 1's not
Come
meant, but
on.
Iron Man 1's not meant to be super like intense and vibrant necessarily. So I'm okay
Yeah,
with
it's
that.
like a story about one
But
person more
regardless,
so.
I like this style of movie a little bit more. It definitely had its flaws. That's why I'm going to give it like a B plus. But overall, it was a solid movie, and I'm glad I got to see it again. So I think we're all glad we got to watch it again and talk about it again. And
Uh-huh.
I think we definitely talked a lot about this movie, and I hope
Yeah.
everyone enjoyed us talking about it.
And Thanos, we talked about
And we
Thanos.
talked about Thanos as well. That was a good conversation. I'm sure we'll talk more about that at another date.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we all got to come back and talk about this movie. And
Mhm.
I don't know. Thanks. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure
unless you
we'll.
guys want to say anything else, but
I mean,
I'm
I'm
good.
sure we'll cover more Chadwick Bose movies in the future. Like, I'd like to do
He's too good.
42 one day. That'd be a great
yep.
movie to do.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. But thanks everyone for watching. Seriously. And
Yeah,
we'll
and
hopefully be back
tell us
sooner.
who's right about our argument that we had in the middle.
Yes, please. I mean, Greg and I know who's right, but it's
I think
okay.
we all know who's right.
It is a matter. It is a matter of perspective, I suppose. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we got back to do this. So again, thanks everyone for watching, and
Yeah. See
we
ya.
will we'll see you later.